Hello, good evening, everyone. Okay, sorry for the delay in the broadcast. Yeah, I had a very important phone call just now. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Okay, I hope you're in the pink of health. So today I'm having another class with all of you. Okay, so whoever is here, welcome and thank you for joining the channel. And I hope you can learn a lot of things from me today. All right. Okay, so today is a series of 2 videos. Okay, so I have only time to do for today and next Saturday, because after that you will have your bio exam. Okay, and nobody's gonna give any care about watching videos anymore. All right, so I have 2 weeks, this week and next week, to explain some difficult questions. Actually, I know the easy ones you can ace it, right? The easy ones no problem. So today my focus here is on explaining to you how to answer some questions which are we call higher order questions. Okay, challenging questions, in other words. Okay, soalan aras tinggi. All right. Okay, so if you would like to let me know who you are, so you can just comment here, then I can see your profile name and your picture. All right. Okay, so if nobody is here, okay, so all right, fine, I'll just do the video. Hopefully it will help someone along the way lah. Okay, so I'm going to start class now. All right, first of all, let me explain to you what is challenging question. In other words, higher order questions. All right. Okay, so I hope you can see my video, my slides. Let me check. Let me check. All right. Okay, I'm looking at it now. Now you see, in learning anything, all right, this is called cognitive skills, right? Cognitive like thinking. So when you learn something, and of course when they formulate questions, yeah, there are many different types of questions, right? Some are easy questions, some are difficult questions. So the easy ones would be like remembering. For example, the lowest memory, and they ask you, what is the name of the process whereby water diffuses into the cell, right? Without using energy and all that, when a region of high water potential to a region of low water potential. So this asks you for the name. You need to remember that it is osmosis. Okay, so remembering is an easy question because you just need to know the name, all right? And you need to know the concept, right? I actually need to know the name, right? You need to know what's the name, right? That's all. So it's a very easy question, right? Then you have a second level, which is understanding. Explain what is meant by osmosis. Then you need to explain, right? And then you need to understand the concept. Osmosis is a process whereby water molecules diffuse from a region of higher concentration to a region of lower concentration. So you need to write all of that. That is a concept. Okay, it's understanding the concept. So a little bit more difficult because many words to write. Okay, then next level, which is a bit higher, is applying. Okay, they give you a situation. All right, and then you need to apply your concept of osmosis into to explain what happens. So that is application question. Okay, so the first 3, we will call that a lower level, not that high lah. This is not that difficult. Okay, so actually this triangle here is what we call, this cone or pyramid is called the Anderson's and Kraft-Waltz taxonomy. So this every teacher knows. All the teacher know this, right? This is what we learn in college or in university, right? We learn all this pedagogy, teaching, the art of teaching. Yeah, the correct way of teaching. What are the methods, the science behind the teaching and all that. So we all learn all this. We are all trained for that. So the first 3 levels here, remembering, understanding, applying, they are not that high level. We say soalan aras rendah. But the next one, which is number 4, all right, analyze. They give you a situation. They give you a graph. Analyze, right? Menganalisis. Then the 5th level is evaluate. Evaluate means you got to give your opinion. Okay, is this good? Is this bad? Give opinions. All right, that is evaluate. All right, what is going to happen when this person takes this diet for a long time? Okay, say the effect, the cause and effect. Right, and lastly, the most difficult, which is called the highest level of question, is for you to create. Create is you have to give suggestions to solve the problem. So the answer comes from you. It may not be even something that you can find in a textbook. Okay, so for example, you learn about the concept of A, right? Then you learn about B, learn A and B, and then in the end of the question, compare and contrast between A and B. So on that spot, right? At that spot, at that time, you have to write the similarities and the differences of A and B. So you got to compare. You must know A first, and you must also know B. And then you compare. What is the similarity? What's the differences? That is creating something, right? And also, they give you a problem. You need to solve the problem, give suggestions. So the higher order is all these last three, 4, 5, and 6 is what we call soalan aras tinggi. Okay, so today what I plan to do here is to give you some examples of questions which require you to analyze, analysis, or evaluate, menilai, and also to create. Okay, now create, I'll do next week. Today is series 1. I'm going to concentrate on analyze and evaluate. Okay, so I'll give you questions on that later, right? Okay, so what is actually analyzing? Breaking down information into its component parts to understand its structure and relationship. For example, they give you a graph, and you see the graph line going up and up and up, right? So analyze the relationship between your MV and your RV. That is analyzing. Okay, normally graphs, diagrams, charts, you analyze and you explain the relationship. Okay, evaluate, making judgment. So is this correct? Justify. Is this method good or not good? Okay, you have to give your reasons to defend your answer. If you say yes, this is good, give your reasons. If you say no, this should not be done, give your reasons. Okay, so that is evaluate. Evaluating, giving your answer to support. You need to give your reasons to support your answer. Okay, and lastly, create. You have to produce something that is new. Maybe they ask you, they give you a problem. Then they ask you to create or to suggest a solution to the problem. Designing a new solution, composing something, synergizing. Synergizing means you have to, on the spot, you have to create something new. All right. So maybe it's like you don't have a table on the differences between A and B. We didn't learn it. You don't have a picture of, you don't have notes on A and B, comparing and contrasting. But on the spot, you have to think, A is this, B is this, or I'm going to give a comparison. Okay, compare similarities and differences. So that comes under creating as well. Okay, so let's go right down to the questions. All right, I'm going to give you today, I'm going to concentrate on analyzing, a few questions on analyzing, 2 questions on analyzing, and 2 questions on evaluating. Next week, I will carry on with some more examples of evaluating and, of course, creating. Okay, the highest level questions. Okay, so let's give you question 1. This question is on analyzing. Okay, so analyzing, this is a graph. Graph in diagram 1 shows the relationship between rate of photosynthesis and light intensity. Okay, let's say they give you this graph. Okay, this one you already learned. You know, this is what you learn in your, your Form 4, right? Not Form 4, yeah, Form 5, yeah. What is the relationship between the light intensity and the rate of photosynthesis? You can see that the graph goes up. Okay, the higher the light intensity, the higher the rate of photosynthesis, but until it reaches a maximum rate. It doesn't go on forever, right? Because you notice that the rate does not increase anymore after it reaches maximum, because there is a factor called limiting factor. That means your concentration of carbon dioxide is not enough. No matter how much light intensity you keep on increasing, your rate of photosynthesis will remain constant. It will remain the same because you don't have enough carbon dioxide. Okay, now question. Based on diagram 1, explain the relationship is to analyze the graph between the rate of photosynthesis and light intensity. Okay, let's say this is a part of a question. 3 marks only. 3 marks only. Don't say 3 marks so easy, but you need to know what to write. Okay, so this is an analyzing question. Okay, first of all, let's see, this is the graph here. I just put it back here for you to see. Now, first point, you must start from the bottom. Okay, at point P. Okay, point P is where you have the lowest light intensity. Okay, your X is the smallest value. Okay, so the rate of photosynthesis is low because you can see that it starts from 0. Okay, so when your light intensity is 0, there will not be any energy, right? There's no light, so your what you call the photosynthesis will not be able to trap any light energy. it will not be able to carry out any photosynthesis reaction. All right, so the rate of photosynthesis is low. Okay, 1 point. All right, now then you progress. All right, when the light intensity increases, so you see the line goes higher and higher, you will see that the rate of photosynthesis increases. So you got to say that the line goes higher, right? The graph goes higher, but it reaches maximum point, right? It reaches point Q, only until point Q. It doesn't go on without stop, all right? Until it reaches point Q. And then your point Q, at point Q here, at point Q, the rate of photosynthesis is maximum. Okay, not optimal. Optimal, you say for temperature. Optimal temperature, 37 degrees Celsius. Okay, rate of photosynthesis, we call it maximum. That means it achieves the highest level. It doesn't go up anymore. Okay, and then you have to explain why. Why the rate of photosynthesis doesn't go up anymore. Why it is already maximum. Okay, so after point Q, the rate of photosynthesis remains constant. Okay, so the word must be that constant means your graph levels up. Okay, becomes flat. The line becomes zero. We call zero gradient. Okay, flat. Even though the light intensity increases, you gotta keep on increasing. The line now becomes flat. All right, the graph becomes flat, and you give your reason that this is 3 marks. So any 3 marks from here, any 3 marks. Okay, those very good questions, very good students able to answer, give you all the points. Very good, but still maximum 3 marks. Okay, then you give the reason. This is because the carbon dioxide now becomes the concentration of carbon dioxide is the limiting factor. You have to write the word. You have to give the term. Okay, you don't say not enough. Not enough is the concept that you understand. Okay, limiting means you don't have enough, so you cannot carry on the reaction. The reaction does not carry out. You can't. The process does not jalan. All right, because you don't have CO2. You need CO2 to carry out photosynthesis. Even though you give light, there's no CO2. Your process does not work. Okay, you have already maximum. You already maxed out the rate. Understand? Okay, any 5 points. Any 5 points from here. Any 3 points from here. All right, okay, this is relatively easy, but you can say it's easy, 3 marks, but you must know what to say and how to say it also. What to say and how to say it is equally important. Okay, look at this. Later on, you look again. I mean, you play my video again, then you pause it. You can write it down. All right, okay, next. Question 2. Okay, we start with short ones first, then we go to more difficult ones. Okay, graph 2. A graph in diagram 2 shows the relationship between rate of transpiration and the opening and closing of stoma from 0 hours. 0 hours, you should know what time it is. It is midnight. 100 hours is midnight. Until 1200 hours, that means it's noon, afternoon, 12 p.m. All right, now this is the line. This is the graph that shows the transpiration rate actually fluctuates based on the time of the day, right? At night, midnight, 100 hours is midnight, 0000, that is midnight, and 2400 hours is also midnight. You can see that the rate is at the lowest. And then 1200 hours, this is when the rate is the highest. You can see the graph goes up. All right, now question. Based on diagram 2, explain the changes in the rate of transpiration. So you must mention transpiration from 0000, or you call it 100 hours, to 1200 hours. Okay, but you see the question? You must relate with the opening and closing of stoma. You see that? See that? You have to mention, because the question asks you to relate to the opening and closing of stomata. All right, so your question is not just talking about transpiration. You must say that why does the transpiration increases? Because the stoma opens. Okay, and you should know that 100 hours is at night. That's when your stoma closes. Okay, the size of the stoma is lowest at night when there's no light intensity, and daytime when it's brightest. Okay, brightest at 12 noon around, right? That you can find, you can remember, you need to remember that the size of the stoma is the largest. Okay, you have to relate that. So you see, how do you answer that? How do you explain this? Okay, so how many marks? This is a question that requires 8 marks. So if it requires 8 marks, you cannot just stop at 5 sentences. Okay, if you're lucky enough, you only get 5 marks because you got only 5 points there. So you have to think how to write until you get at least 8 points. Even better, you write more than 8 points because some of your points maybe you don't get marks. All right, you write as many points as possible, more than the required marks here. All right, and the pemeriksa will know just to choose which is the correct mark to give you the marks. Okay, let's see the answer. Yeah. Okay. Now, first of all, this is the graph, right? Just to remind you. Now you have to break it down to sections because we want you to explain from 000 hours to 1200 hours. So that means 1800 hours and 2400 hours, no need to talk about that. They don't want that. You just concentrate on the first part of the graph, 0 to 600, all right, and then 600 to 1200. Okay, so in the morning, that means 12 midnight to 6 early in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, yeah, all right, the rate of transpiration is low. Okay, so you can see that the graph is at its lowest. All right, okay, you write that. This is correct, so you get 1 point. Okay, now you have to relate that to stoma. Okay, the size of your stoma, not just talking about transpiration, because the question asks you relate that to the opening and closing of stomata. All right, so first point, stoma closes. Okay, so that's why is the rate of transpiration low? Because stoma closes. And why the stoma close at this time? Because low light intensity. This is at night, midnight. Okay, even until 6 o'clock, it is very dark. So light intensity is low. Okay, you mentioned that, you get your point. All right, now, so when the stoma closes, that means there will be less water that has a chance to evaporate. Okay, less water is lost, less water is evaporated. Therefore, this explains why the transpiration is low. Understand? All right, so the first part here is not very technical. It's just common sense only. Okay, now later you have to explain why the graph increases, right? I mean, the rate of transpiration increases. So as you see, 6 o'clock is early morning, right? It's starting to become a little bit bright. 12 o'clock is very bright already. It's like noon, midday. So you have to talk about now the rate of transpiration increases. So that explains why the line goes up. Okay, you have to say this. The rate of transpiration increases. Now, why does it increase? Because now the light intensity increases because it's getting, from midnight then to early morning still dark. Now is morning already, okay, and approaching noon. So the light intensity increases, becomes brighter and brighter. The day becomes brighter and brighter. All right, okay, so you have to say light intensity increases. You don't say the day becomes brighter and brighter. I cannot guarantee that you get your marks. You cannot say day becomes brighter and brighter. That is layman term. People who don't learn science can say that. But if you learn science, you need to talk about a factor. The factor is light intensity. You don't say the day becomes brighter. That is someone who doesn't know science, right? You can say it's brighter, yes, but talk about light intensity. Okay, you need to know the correct terms to say. Okay, next. So when the light becomes, the light intensity increases, we find that the gut cells will start to carry out photosynthesis. Okay, because there's sunlight. So when there's sunlight, that means there will be photosynthesis starting to occur. Okay, and where? It has to do with the gut cells. The gut cells will carry out photosynthesis. The osmotic pressure. Okay, that means the concentration of sucrose inside the cytoplasm, right, in the vacuole will increase. All right. So osmotic pressure in the gut cell increases because water goes in. Okay, potassium ions enter the gut cell. This is also one of the factors, right? Potassium ion will be pumped into the cell. Okay, during daytime, gut cell now becomes hypertonic to the epidermal cells. Epidermal cells is the cells that is the neighboring cells, the cells that are not the gut cell. They are called the epidermal cells. So now your gut cell will have more water. Okay, it's not yet. The next point, now the osmotic pressure increases. So you got to say, because of that, osmotic pressure increases. All right. Now the potassium ion becomes enter. Now water enters the cell. Water diffuses into the cell by the process called osmosis. Okay, you have to explain why or how the gut cell opens. I'm not gut cell opens. The gut cell bends, right, and allows the stoma size to increase. And that's why you have more water evaporated in the daytime. Okay, so now water diffuses into the gut cells by osmosis. Okay, and that causes the gut cells to become turgid. All right, so it's like you're pumping the balloon until it's so full and there's a lot of pressure inside. The turgor pressure of gut cells increase. So there's a lot of pressure. And because of the thickness of the gut cells, okay, you know the thickness of the gut cell, the cell wall, all right, the one that is facing the stoma is thicker compared to the outer side, all right. So that causes your gut cell, when it expands, right, becomes turgid, it does not what they call even extension for your inside and outside. All right, the inside will expand less compared to the outer side. So as a result, the gut cells will curve or bend. All right, don't say move. They don't move. They are static. So they do not move. You say curve or bend outwards. Okay, and when it curves or bend outwards, it causes the stoma to open or stomata to open. Okay, so just imagine this is my gut cell. Look at my hand. So when it curves, you can see the stoma, it becomes bigger. All right, okay? So because it requires 8 marks, so you have to explain this in your answer. If it's only 3 marks, you don't have to talk so much. Okay? Don't have to talk so much. But if you want to say, also can, right? Nobody's stopping you, right? Just that hope that you have enough time for other questions. You don't have to write. If it's just 3 marks, don't have to write half a page. If it's 8 marks, yes, please do try to achieve almost like quarter to half a page. But make sure you count your points. All right, if you're not sure, keep on writing. All right, make sure that you keep the points. All right, and lastly, when the stoma opens, more water is lost. So please add the word lebih banyak. Not just water is lost, but more water. When it opens, you get more water able to evaporate. Okay, so your points here is how many? 8 marks. So any 8 points. Okay, so make sure you talk about the 0, 100 hours to 600 hours, at least 1 point from there. And then 0, 600 to 1200 hours. You must have both parts. You cannot be talking about 600 hours to 1200 hours. You must mention the 0 to 6 first, and also 6 to 12. Understand? All right. Okay. So if no questions, I don't see any questions there. I don't know whether you're there. Okay, doesn't matter. I will continue. Yeah. If you want me to explain, just write your question up here. Okay, question 3 now. Right, evaluate. So I've given you 2 questions on what? On 2 questions on analyzing. All right, usually it's graph. Okay, so there, keep your mind open for this kind of questions. Okay, evaluate. So evaluate needs you to give your opinion. Say which is better. Justify your choice with your reason. Why this is better? A is better than B. Or if I choose B, why is B better than A? Okay, example. Usually, there's very popular question on diet. Okay, 2 types of pie. Chicken pie, vegetable pie. Okay, so you should know what kind of people should eat the chicken pie, right? What kind of people should eat the vegetable pie, right? Okay. Table 3 shows the nutrient content found in 2 types of pie. Okay, so the nutrient content is on the next page. Not big enough to put the table here, yeah? Okay. Now, so the chicken pie is on the left, the vegetable pie on the right. Compare the nutrients, yeah, in terms of carbohydrate, protein, lipid, sodium. Sodium is salt, right? And fiber, or we call that fish, all right? So, based on the table above, suggest the better option of pie. So, if you want to recommend someone to take a pie, right? What kind of person this is? Adult male age 50 years old, male, with a BMI of 28. You should know what BMI of 28 means. Is it healthy BMI or not healthy BMI? That you also need to know. Okay, just to compare, let me tell you. healthy BMI would be 18.5 to 20, below 25. Okay, 24.9 still healthy. So you are healthy in the sense that your body weight compared to your height, that is normal lah. Anything below 18.5 is underweight. Okay, the person is too skinny. Okay, does not eat enough, does not have enough muscle mass or the body mass compared to the height. Okay, overweight is 25 to 29.9. Okay, overweight is different from obese. If you want to call somebody obese, it has to be 20% more than the ideal body weight. 20% more. Then once it reaches 30, BMI of 30, you can call the person obese. Okay, so now this person has 28 BMI of 28. That means this person is overweight. Okay, so overweight means there is a risk of getting, all the what they call the weight related diseases like hypertension, diabetes, heart attack, cardiovascular problems and all that, right? So overweight is 25 to below 30. So this person falls under overweight. So the person should be eating a healthier diet, and you should know what it means by healthy diet. Okay, look here. Compare your chicken pie and your vegetable pie. You have to, when you analyze this, please take note. Yes, I see. Oh, sorry. Where is it? The table. Vegetable pie. Wait, so the carbohydrate is higher for the pie chicken, compared to the pie, vegetable pie. Protein is also higher. Okay, look here. This is higher. Wait, my arrow went missing already. I put in the arrow, but I don't know where happened the arrow. Okay, this is also higher. Fat is also higher for pie, chicken pie. Sodium is also higher than the vegetable pie. And the only thing that is lower is the fiber. Fiber is good, right? Right? Fiber is good. Too much of carbohydrate, protein, fat, and sodium is no good. Fiber is good. Okay, now see the question here. What is the better option for adult male age 50 years? So, say first now. So you got to answer the first part. Vegetable pie is the better option for him. Okay, you must say this. You cannot be giving all your reasons without giving your choice. So you must say the vegetable pie is the better option. If you choose something else, you choose the chicken pie. Not recommended lah. Because if you say chicken pie, it has too much of this, which is not good for somebody who is overweight. Okay, now what are the answers? Okay, what are the answers to support your choice? Okay, first of all, you talk about carbohydrate. It has lower carbohydrate content than chicken pie. Okay, so just now I should not be putting here. We are talking about pie here. So this is the better option. So this is lower. All right, this is lower. This is lower than the other one. So this is good. All this should be lower. And your fiber is good. Fiber is higher than the chicken pie. Okay, so now this point. This has lower carbohydrate content. Okay, next. So you talk about the advantage. Why is it better to take less carbohydrate? Because it reduces the risk of weight gain, or reduces the risk of obesity, because it's already at 28 BMI, BMI of 28. So another 2 more, another up to 30, it's going to be obesity. The person is going to be classified as obese. Okay, while still able to provide enough energy for him. So having carbohydrate, all right, the chicken pie now, the vegetable pie, it still has enough energy for this person. Okay, not to say zero carbohydrate. The person can still get energy by eating the vegetable pie. Okay, it has enough protein content. Okay, protein doesn't have to be that much, okay, for the body to build. So talk about the function of the nutrient. Okay, so tackle the function. What is the carbohydrate for? Give energy. What is the protein for? To repair, to build new cells, to repair damaged tissues, or synthesize hormone or enzymes. Okay, next. Next one. Wait for a while. Okay. An adult does not require a diet rich of protein. So the person is already an adult. The person is not growing anymore, right? Not growing in terms of height. It's not a child. So see properly. If it's a child, you need high protein, right? So this is, it's not a baby, it's not a child, it's an adult. So it does not require huge amounts of protein, all right? So give some more points. The person is not experiencing high or exponential growth rate in adulthood. It's already adult. You see the graph is already leveling. It's already becoming flat, no longer climbing up. That is childhood days. Okay, so I'll give you answer, give you a reason to support. Okay, it has, talk about the next one. Lipid content is less than chicken pie, right? Your vegetable pie, less fat. So can reduce the risk of getting cardiovascular disease, can reduce the risk of becoming obese. Okay, so the person is already nearing obese. It has a lower sodium. Talk about the next group. Sodium content, less sodium compared to the chicken pie. It can maintain a healthy blood pressure. Okay, so remember that salt can increase blood pressure. All right, so if you have lower salt, then you have lower risk of getting hypertension. That means high blood pressure. Okay, so every sentence there has to be point. Then you can see tick, you get maximum. Okay, so don't beat about the bush. Go use the correct term, say the correct thing, you get your marks. Okay, it has high fiber content. The next group that of nutrient need to talk about is the fiber. So the fiber is good, right? Much higher than the chicken pie. So what's good about that? What is the function of fiber? Remember, talk about the function to stimulate peristalsis of the colon, right? So the person will have regular bowel movement, reducing the risk of getting constipation or getting hemorrhoids. We call it piles, right? In Chinese, we call it 痔瘡, right? And then you're less chance of getting colon cancer. Okay, so what you need to do is 1F and 9P, because 10 marks. F is your choice. Make the choice, 9 points to support your answer. Okay, support your choice. All right, okay, so this is recommending which pie to take for an adult, male adult who is 50 years old, not growing anymore in terms of, in terms of height and all that, not the child, and BMI of 28. Okay, second question. Also the same question, based on the same question. Now based on the same stimulus. Now the question says, the adult male consume the chicken pie over a long period of time. Okay, let's say this adult male, the one that has got 50 years old, and also having a BMI of 28. Let's say he doesn't listen to your advice, doesn't listen to your recommendation of picking the vegetable pie. Let's say he takes chicken pie and takes it for a long period of time. Discuss this effect to his health. The effect of taking a lot of chicken pie over a long period of time. Okay, so now let's compare chicken pie. This my arrow is here. I forgot, not the first part, second part. Okay, so higher content of carbohydrate, higher content of protein, higher lipid, higher sodium, and less fiber. Okay, all this is bad. All this is bad, right? Everything on the vegetable pie is good for someone his age, okay? But if it's a child, it's growing, then no harm taking more protein, all right? Or taking a diet which is high in carbohydrate, because children are basically active. They need the energy, okay? But high sodium is no good, all right? Okay, now let's look at the answer, 10 marks. So the effect of long-term consumption of chicken pie for a man who is 50 years old and having a BMI of 28. Okay, so you got to write your answer to support your, to explain that chicken pie is no good. All right, so you say chicken pie, right? It contains carbohydrate, yes, right? The function is to give energy. So you have to mention the nutrient and the function as well. Okay, so it gives energy for the daily activity of the man, right? But excess carbohydrate, because it's high, high content of carbohydrate, taken over a long term causes obesity or weight gain problem, okay, which is very relevant to this person, because this person already BMI of 28, right? It can cause obesity, okay. And chicken pie contains protein, which is needed for to build new cells or repair damaged tissues. So this one you now talk about the next one, protein. So protein, talk about function. Now we reject for growth lah. Okay. Any idea why we don't recommend you to say growth here? We don't recommend that you say for growth for this point. Anybody? All right. Oh, we are here. Who is X Nia? RX Nia? You have put your profile name. And teacher cannot will hear. You are here. Yes, but I do not know who you are. Okay, because I do not know your name. Nia. Nia. Okay. Thanks for coming, Nia. You can give me your name, then I know who you are. Now, why do we reject for growth? Use your mind. Think. Because we are talking about what? Who is this person? Who is this person who's taking chicken pie for a long period of time? This is an adult male. Yeah. So adult male, they don't grow anymore. Once you're adult, you already reach your maximum height. You know that or not, right? I'm sure you know that. So you don't say for growth, because if you say for growth, then it's wrong because it's not a child. If it's a child, you can say growth. Yes, good. Yeah, because adult not growing anymore. Yes, correct, Aranya. Yes, that is your answer. So when you write, not just blindly thinking all the points, you must apply it to the question. You must apply to the situation. Okay, good, yeah. Okay, Rania, sorry, yeah. RX, yeah. Don't know how to explain. I pronounce your name, sorry, yeah, if I'm pronouncing it wrongly, yeah. Okay, let's continue now. If you give me your normal name, I can see you say we are here. I hope I remember who you are. Okay, let's go on. So we don't accept for growth. You can say build new cells. This one you're still adults still carrying on your building, not build new cells, repair damaged tissues. Okay, next, excess protein. You have protein, yes, good, but excess protein, no good. Taken over long term causes gout, increase in uric acid. So we talk about the bad points. You have protein, but too much already. Too much already. What is the bad consequences? Okay. Next, chicken pie contains lipid or fat. Okay, talk about the function of fat, which is good lah. I mean, this is normal. Everybody needs fat. Stores energy, insulate against heat loss. All right, that is the function. But talk about excess now. Okay, because this chicken pie will have excess of fat. Excess lipid taken over long term can cause obesity, cardiovascular diseases. Any example of cardiovascular diseases, for example, atherosclerosis, you have the lumen of the arteries, okay, where you have the deposition of this fat or cholesterol in the lumen of the arteries. Okay, Rania. Okay. Rania, correct. Okay, all right, good. Thank you, Rania. Now, so you talk about excess because this chicken pie has excess compared to the vegetable pie, right? And then chicken pie, next group of nutrient contains fiber, roughage, which provides bulk function, absorbs water, good for your defecation. The process of buang air besar provides bulk, menyerap air. To aid is to help. This is the function. To aid, to prevent, to aid peristalsis, prevent constipation, prevent hemorrhoids, boisere, preventing colon cancer. All right, and this chicken pie will have low fiber. All right, the vegetable pie has got higher fiber. So you talk about this one. What's the problem with the chicken pie now? It's got low fiber. So low fiber causes unhealthy bowel movement. That means not very often you get to buang air besar. All right, that means unhealthy defecation, maybe once in 4 or 5 days, once in 1 week. That's very bad. Okay, then talk about the next group. Chicken pie contains sodium, right? Salt, right? Which maintains blood pressure. It affects your blood pressure. It ensures healthy nerve or muscle function. It's good. You need sodium. If you don't have sodium, you will have cramps. Okay, your muscle function is not good. All right. So, but here got excess sodium, right? Too high. The sodium 600. How many milligrams? More than 600 milligrams. Increases blood pressure. You need to say the bad effect of having too high sodium. All right, which increases the risk of cardiovascular diseases. So name any cardiovascular diseases lah. All right, angina, okay, heart attack lah, stroke lah, all these atherosclerosis, arteriosclerosis, all related to the heart and the blood vessel. These are we call it cardiovascular diseases. Okay, so you can see 10 marks here. You got so many points you can talk about, any 10 points. Okay, so make sure when you write, be specific, use the correct terms, write it nicely, properly, all right, you will get your marks. Okay, question 3, done. All right, so question 3 got 2, first part and second part. Okay, one more question about evaluating, menilai. Okay, now this one is not about diet, this is about the environment. So I want to stress, you in essay, question either 9 or 10 or 11, one of them, probably high chance of question based on environment or genetic technology. We call it the genetic engineering. So I always stress the students, okay, I don't spot, but I can see from the trend, these two topics, we call it major topics, are very important. One is the environmental issues. Another one is genetic technology, okay, or genetic engineering technology, or that lah. So please do not forget to revise. Okay, so this is Haze. Okay, so Haze, what are the environment problems? You will have your acid rain, your global warming, your eutrophication, haze, deforestation, all this will come in. Any one of that. Okay, so happen this question is on haze. Now discuss what causes haze and the bad effect of haze. So you can see here, you have cause and effect, kesan dan akibat. Okay, so make sure when you write your answer, please make sure you touch on the causes, that what makes haze happen. Effect, what can haze bring you? Okay, haze can cause your respiratory problems, this and that. Okay, so 10 marks. So roughly give about at least 6 points on not 6. Sometimes it's not balanced, but at least you must say at least one of each part. You must say cause, you must say effect. If you only say effect, you will not get 10 marks. Maximum is only maybe 9 marks. Okay, it cannot be so many causes also, okay, and you don't say effects. So definitely you have to talk about both in order to get your maximum marks. Okay, let's see the points. All right, so here you have question, already given question, the cause. Now you answer the causes first. Okay, cause, haze is formed when pollutants, you have dust or smoke or particles, it increases in the atmosphere. All right, you get more and more, so it becomes, they are suspended. These particles are too light. They are too light, they are very, very small particles, and they are not heavy enough to drop, we call it, they become sediments. They don't drop down, so they are floating in the air, and it causes a very hazy appearance. Okay, so due to what causes haze? Open burning, okay, smoke from factories, exhaust from the motorized vehicles. So all these are causes of haze. All right, not cutting down trees. Cutting down trees, you increase the CO2, but it doesn't cause haze unless you burn it. You cut down the tree, yes, but you have to say open burning, because haze is actually the particles suspended, or maybe due to the burning and all that. All right, all the particles that gets released into the air, and they are so small that it's too light, they're floating everywhere. All right, and it doesn't settle. Okay, so you have your cause. Now talk about the effect. Effect, there is a lot you can talk about. Okay, so now I'll give you the standard answer. If you can remember half of this, you can do a very good essay already. Okay, at least half of it, you have so many points. So talk about, in terms of, if they ask you for health, then you only concentrate on health. Don't talk about environment. Okay, if they never tell you this is bad effects, generally, full stop, you can talk about the environment. You can also talk about human health. So this question does not say whether they want human health or environment. That means you can talk about all. Okay, this is open. Very good for those people who don't really remember technical stuff, but this one you can score some points because it's all general, and a lot of things that you already know, you already learned. Okay, so haze causes or reduces visibility. That means makes it very difficult to see. Can cause road accidents, okay, all blurry, carbo, right? Dust particles can also block the stomata of leaves. So these are on plants, environment. Later I touch on health. So Zara habuk menghalang semata daun, okay, in SPM. So when it blocks the stomata. That means it can reduce the rate of photosynthesis and also reduces the rate of transpiration. Either one lah, right? And that will reduce crop yield. So when there's low photosynthesis, they cannot make so much food. So when there's not so much food, all right, you cannot get so much your hasil, your crop yield from the plant. Okay, everything is related. From one point, continue. You can write a very good essay on this. Okay, all right, next one. So next one, all right, next one. Causes, this is for human health. Eye irritation. Okay, it irritates your eyes. Inflammation, so bengkak, right? Conjunctivitis, the conjunctiva, which is the membrane covering the cornea, gets infected. So you get red eye, okay? We call pink eye, right? Causes nasal congestion, so difficult to breathe, right? You have your particles entering your nose, right? Runny nose. It can, some people are allergic to the particles, so they start to have runny nose, allergy, yeah? Sore throat, sneezing, coughing, breathlessness, difficult to breathe. It can even cause trigger influenza, right? If there's a virus in the air, right? Causes headaches, dizziness, migraine. Okay? Either one of these is related to the head, right? Then minute particulate matter, that means the small particles that is floating, that is suspended, can be inhaled into the lungs. It will impair gaseous exchange in the alveolus. So it blocks, okay? It reduces the surface area, so your gases cannot go through. You are not getting as much exchange of gases as you should. Okay, next. Haze, or Haze and what now? Trigger, okay, sorry, there's a mistake here. Haze triggers asthma attack in asthmatic patient, okay? Haze and I think the particles in the air triggers asthmatic attacks. So people who already have asthma, right, they need to have clean air. If the haze happens, the particles they gets inhaled into the respiratory system, it can trigger the person to get asthmatic attack. That means the bronchioles, all right, the narrow airway, yeah, the airway becomes narrow, so difficult to get oxygen or the air into the lungs. Okay, so they can trigger asthmatic attack. So they start wheezing, they start coughing. These are signs of not getting enough air when the person coughs. Okay, next, can cause bronchitis. All right, when there's bacteria or bacteria in the air, it gets inhaled at the same time. There could be bronchitis, inflammation in the bronchus. Okay, this is for human health. Okay, next, not yet finished. So many points. Okay, oh, God, finish. Sorry, there's another question there. Okay, so minimum one cause, and the rest will be your effect. Okay, so you want to get your 10 marks, please keep on writing. Don't worry whether accept or not, the pemeriksaan, the marker will choose for you. Keep on writing. Okay, next. Now, last question. Okay, this is 4B. Just now was 10 marks. So this is another 10 marks, also on environment. You can see stimulus given to you. This is on clearing of the forest. So urbanization and increase in human population has resulted in overuse of land. So you got to cut down trees. You have to clear the forest so that you can make, build new farms, because you want to grow more food. Because the human population has increased, you need to provide more food for people to fulfill, okay, the needs of the growing population. All right. Okay. Now, question: explain how overuse of land by intensive farming. Intensive farming, you have to cut down. You also have to put in fertilizers, pesticides, all these things, right? It flows into the river and all that. Then you can start talking, right? So it leads to the negative environmental consequences to the ecosystem. So talk about the bad things, right? There's nothing good about it. When you clear forests and you carry out intensive farming. Okay, so 10 marks. Okay, so what to say, right? What to say? So many things you can say. Okay, negative environmental consequences of overuse of land. All right, first of all, intensive farming, because intensive means you want to produce highest yield from the smallest area. Okay, you want to pack. Everything is all compact inside there. You want to grow as much as possible, get as much hasil or yield as possible from that plot of land. So you got to put in a lot of pesticides, so your your animals don't start eating your plants, right? You also kill any insects by using insecticides, herbicides. It contains chemicals that can cause water pollution because it can run into the water, okay, water system, river, lakes, and so on. Okay, chemicals which contain toxic substances absorbed by plants. So if you spray a lot of racun serangga, racun perosak, the toxin, the toxic chemicals, it can be absorbed by the plant as well. And when you eat it, the substance is inside the plant. You eat it, you ingest it, that chemical goes into your body, can cause harm, yeah, to the human, and also can cause harm to the animals that eat the plant, right? Okay, talk about the bad things, yeah. Plants and animals or habitats are destroyed. Okay, so either the plant dies, animal dies, or the habitat dies, and that affects the food web. Okay, when this animal A dies, the B animal that eats your A don't have food anymore because A no more, so the B also die, and also affects your C. Your C no more, then it affects your D, right? Your whole web of this food web is affected when one animal is no longer there. All right, causes loss of biodiversity or extinction of any particular species. Okay, when they all die off, that's it. All right, there's no more next generation of this animal or the species. Okay, cleared land for farming. When you cut down the trees, there's no more trees with the roots that can hold the ground, hold the soil. Okay, so when the rain comes, heavy rain, soil erosion will occur. So they will wash away all the soil. Of course, there will be leaching of minerals. You also lose the mineral from the soil when you have soil leaching. Okay, so excessive rainfall. So when it rains heavily, like now we're experiencing a lot of rain, can cause landslides because you don't have the root to hold the soil. So the whole mountain can crumble, right? Can come down because there's no root to actually grip the land, to grip the soil. Then can cause landslides, tanah runtuh. Okay, next. Yeah. Soil brought down by the rainwater can go into the river. Okay, let's say just by the river, the soil goes into the river, and when it deposits into the river, or sediments sediments in the river, so it will increase the water level. The water will overflow the river, overflow the drains. You get flash flood. Okay, flash flood is sudden. Normally don't have rain, but because no have floods, but normally because there is what they call suddenly too much water rush into the system, right? And the drainage system is not fast enough, doesn't drain the water fast enough, so the water overflows. You call it flash flood. This one always happen in KL, right? KL, because of the Saliran problem. Okay, clearing of land which involves open burning. If you clear the land, normally people do it the easy way, which is to burn it. Burn it easy, cheap. No machinery, no need to hire people to cut down the tree. All right, cheap and irresponsible way to clear forest is to start a fire. Okay, and that is actually open burning. All right, it causes air pollution. You can see all the black smoke, all the particles, the black color is all carbon being released into the air. Of course, increasing CO2 as well. Okay, so you see, every point leads to another thing. Increases the concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. So if you clear forest by burning, is a very bad way because it will increase the concentration of CO2, and that leads to global warming. Okay, before that, greenhouse effect first. Causes greenhouse effect, where your carbon dioxide increases. Okay, it traps heat. You want to put in also can? Traps heat, right? Then it causes global warming. Remember, greenhouse effect causes global warming, not the other way around. Not global warming causes greenhouse effect. Wrong concept. Okay, it is because you have greenhouse effect which traps the heat, therefore you have global warming. Okay, then excessive fertilizers. Too much fertilizer, you want the plant to grow grow faster. It can cause enrichment of phosphate because your fertilizer will have phosphate, you have nitrate. If it's not absorbed fully by the plant, it can run into the water system. Okay, rivers, lakes, and then you have a problem called eutrophication. Okay, there's so many issues here, so many things that are all related. Okay, when it causes eutrophication, you have aquatic life, animals that live in the animals and also the plants that live inside the water, they will die, right? Destroys aquatic life, So, and also, of course, increases the BOD. You can keep on talking, all right? Increase the BOD, and then you will have water pollution, everything. Just keep on talking, all right? You have minimum of 10 points. You have your maximum marks. Okay, see, all this is very standard answers. Okay, if you like I said, if you remember half of this, you can write a good, very good essay already. Okay, so keep this as a example. Whenever you ask questions, they ask you about environment. Okay, if you can talk about half of this, I think it's a very good essay already. Okay, understand? All right. So this is all the time I have for you today. Next week will be my last and final free YouTube class for the year, because after that nobody's going to watch biology lessons anymore. It'll be bye-bye already, because you know your bio paper is the next week. So next week I'm going to give you 4 more questions, 2 on evaluating and another 2 on creating. Okay, so these are the higher order questions, which I hope you know how to tackle when you see them. All right, okay, so I hope to see you next week, all right, which will be my final lesson. So you can always share this video with the link to your friends who have no time to join us. Maybe they have time, they want to see it later, no problem. My video is always there. And if you would like to message me, no problem. You want to ask questions, most welcome for you to contact me through Telegram. Okay, all right. And this is my link for my YouTube channel. So you'll find a lot of resources there, a lot of videos that I have made since MCO 2020. Okay, so I hope to see you next week. All right, thank you very much, Rania, for joining my class. I do not know who the other people are. All right, so thank you. I hope to see you next week. Okay, bye-bye, everyone. Good evening. Enjoy your weekend, and good luck for your SPM next week. Yeah, all your papers. Okay, all right. Thank you. Bye-bye.